I'm James Heaney, and this is Brief News Brief. The Trump administration made a move on Wednesday to rescind Obama-era laws that protect transgender students. These laws allow them to use the bathroom of their choice. Now, the biggest thing here at Brief News Brief we don't understand about Trump's new move on a fundamental level is that it's extremely difficult to know the gender of someone, the biological sexuality, just passing them in a moment. But aside from that, really quick, it's nobody's business what you have in your pants, unless that person plans on playing with whatever's in your pants. Then otherwise, it's not your business, okay? But if you're just passing someone in a bathroom and not having any intimate interaction, and sometimes even if you do have an intimate interaction, you might not know the true born with sex identity, but it's pretty clear to know what sex they identify with. What's more jarring if you're in a men's bathroom? Would it be somebody that's dressed as a man going into a stall and doing their business there? Or would it be somebody dressed in women's attire with makeup and having them look exactly like a woman at all fundamental levels? I feel like it's going to be difficult. It would be more jarring to see a woman come into the restroom. And who's going to enforce these laws? Is it going to be the pee-pee police? Are the pee-pee police going to barge into a bathroom and say, everybody, hands up, pants down. We need to see the weenies in this room. And wouldn't it be embarrassing if you went up to somebody and be like, you don't look like a man. Let me see it. And then it's there. And God forbid it was even bigger than their own. The pee-pee police would be furious. There'd be a lot of bad police action. Nonetheless, this recent Trump decision has raised the stakes for an upcoming U.S. Supreme Court case that could be delivering a landmark decision on the issue. The 8 justices are due to hear the oral arguments on March 28th on whether or not a school board in Virginia can block Gavin Grimm, a female-born transgender high school student, from using the boys' bathroom. The High Court on Thursday asked the lawyers involved to file letters by March 1st giving their views on how these new Trump actions are affecting the consideration of this case. The ruling is due by the end of June. And now for your brief news briefing. The State of the Union is on Tuesday, so tune in and watch Trump explain what the State of the Union is. I'll tell you what my feelings are on the State of the Union. I feel like the Union's falling apart. Now, Trump spoke this week at CPAC, repeating his mantra, I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. And it's a lot like they say, fight fire with fire. Trump is fighting fake news with fake news. It's being reported that on Thursday, a White House official asked the FBI to rebut an article detailing contacts between Trump and his associates and their contact with Russian intelligence officials. And Trump Friday attacked the FBI on Twitter, calling them a dangerously porous agency. Now, that's kind of just Trump's perspective. How poor us are is a little difficult for him to understand being so rich. The White House barred reporters, such as reporters from The Times, CNN, and Politico, from entering the West Wing office during the press secretary Sean Spicer's scheduled briefing, which is a little weird, because they're pretty major outlets. This week, authorities shut down a camp near Standing Rock Indian Reservation where demonstrators have been protesting the Dakota Access Pipeline since August. Apparently, it was too cold for them to stop people, and they didn't want to get their gloves on and try to enforce people to get out of Standing Rock. But now that it's warm, they're braving up, and they're going to shut down that protest. It's legal for an ICE officer to pretend to be a police officer at your front door. They do this to fool people into revealing the whereabouts of family members. The president's announcement of his intent to dramatically increase the number of people ICE apprehends for deportation has increased concerns by immigrant advocates that this new tactic is going to grow even more prevalent. Yesterday, it got personal. First, they came for Elizabeth Warren and I made jokes. Then they came for the EPA and I made jokes. And then they came for marijuana and I said, oh, hell no. But I say it through jokes, so here we go. Yesterday, the White House put legalized marijuana on notice, which would stop the 8 states, the coolest 8 states if I might say, from making up to $8 billion off of weed. And that's just from the money that they get from marijuana. It doesn't include the money they make from Taco Bell, Doritos, Rick and Morty reruns, bongs with Stone Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on them. They could easily all make an extra billion on their own. I mean, how do you think anybody's going to get through this presidency if they're not allowed to get stoned? Maybe Trump's mad because he thinks all those weed smokers are laughing at him. No, they're just stoned. It probably has nothing to do with the fact that your hair looks like somebody straightened their pubes and laid them across your head. Or this picture where he's definitely a frog in heat, right? And what's Trump going to replace the marijuana industry with to make the money back? Something fun like a bouncy castle industry or water parks, right? No, prisons. The GOP plans to criminalize marijuana and make their money off of private prisons and companies that support those private prisons. So picture this. You're living in Colorado, legally enjoying some sweet, sweet ganja. Nice, right? It gets better because as you're getting high, $40 million is going to build your local schools. And you're getting stoned for the children now, right? And that's not all. Each puff helps the departments of agriculture, public safety, and transportation. The more stoned you get, the more good you're doing. Now that's a good high. But now that Trump's in charge, instead picture this. You buy some weed illegally, you're wearing a hoodie so you get stopped and frisked, and you go to prison. Now every day you work making plastic silverware for McDonald's or in a call center for AT&T. Or if you're a woman, you're sewing clothes for Victoria's Secrets. I mean, come on, talk about a women's prison in Victoria's Secrets. That should be hot, not infuriating and sad. So that awesome high that was helping kids in your state flourish has been replaced with a 30-year prison sentence for making money for the man. Ironically, Trump wanting weed to be illegal never made me want to smoke weed so much in my whole life. So until it's official, smoke 'em if you got 'em and pass the Doritos, brah. It's poll tally time. Do you like digital or paper when reading books? Now, we're not talking about comics here. And it is right down the middle, digital and paper. There's a small group of few people that only like your books bound in flesh like the Book of Necronomicon. But it's pretty split. I enjoy reading paper books, but my problem is I bring them around, they're heavy, and they get tore up in my backpack. But my Kindle stays in the same condition as always, which is just minor scratches on the front. Would you be friends with Martin Shkreli? Half of you say absolutely not. But there's a small margin that are interested in friends with benefits. Obviously, medical benefits. That's what we're talking about, medical benefits. And if you had to choose, would you rather break an arm or a leg? 75% of you said arm. That's a pretty good choice, I guess, as long as I don't have to have my arm out like this, because then I'd have to play video games like this, and that would be crazy. I feel like I could play a lot of video games with a leg broken. My own personal opinion. Here are the new polls. We need democracy to continue unless you want this to become the next Russia, right? First, should ICE officials be allowed to impersonate police officers? Should the White House be able to block major news outlets from press conferences? And have you ever attended a town hall meeting? I'm really interested to know. I imagine not many, but I'd like to know. Now, we're going to be taking a couple of weeks off, so you'll have some more time to vote for these ones. In fact, I think it's going to be about 2 weeks. Nonetheless, I'm going to be in North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Missouri, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois. That might be it. I'm going to be in a lot of states for the next 2 weeks. And if I'm lucky, it looks like I'm booked for a commercial, too, in San Francisco. So, nonetheless, we're taking off a couple of weeks. When we come back, we're going to be making some serious improvements to the Brief News Brief. So I hope that you're ready to tune in. And I'm going to miss you until then. I'm going to miss you a lot.